Have you ever wondered why Made in China is everywhere? Because for sellers, sourcing from China is the smartest move. The prices are unbeatable, the variety is endless, and the factories can scale faster than anywhere else. But the real challenge doesn't come when you order, it comes when you try to pay. Suddenly you're facing banking systems you don't understand, regulations you've never heard of, and fees that quietly eat into your margins. That's why in this video I'll show you the safe, modern way to pay your Chinese suppliers so you can focus on growing your business instead of stressing over payments. First, let's cover the absolute landmines. These are the methods you should avoid at all costs. Credit and debit cards might feel like the easiest option. While it seems simple, these payment methods are not widely accepted by Chinese suppliers. The reason is that the credit card companies charge a high transaction fee, which is passed on to the seller. This, combined with high currency conversion fees, eats directly into their revenue, making it a very unpopular choice. Next up is the old-school bank-to-bank transfer. This is not a good option. Not only are you paying excessive fees from both your bank and the recipient's bank, but there is virtually no protection for you, the buyer. The process can take several days, and worse, transfers are often only available between specific partner banks. For example, your local bank branch might only be able to transfer directly to the Agricultural Bank of China, which may not be your supplier's bank. It's an outdated and inefficient system. Then there's the biggest red flag of them all, Western Union. For business transactions, it's a complete no-go. You get zero protection. If a factory decides to take your money and disappear, you're out of luck. Sure, Western Union offers currency exchange, but the rates come with heavy markups that make every payment more expensive than it should be. And let's be honest, this is the go-to method for scammers and fraudsters. If a supplier insists on Western Union, take it as a giant warning sign and walk away. Now let's move into a grey area, the methods that are okay, but not recommended for regular, serious business. First is PayPal. It's a decent option for very small initial purchases and samples because it can act as a form of insurance and the payment is instant. However, PayPal is not recommended for large purchases due to its high fees. The biggest downside is that PayPal is notorious for freezing accounts for both you and your supplier for all sorts of reasons, locking up your money for weeks or even months with little explanation. Next are Alipay and WeChat Pay. These are the dominant payment methods inside China, which makes them seem like a good idea, but for cross-border business transactions, they have serious limitations. Payments can only be made to an individual's account, not a business account. There are strict limits on how much can be transferred per transaction and an overall annual limit of 500,000 RMB. To make it even more complicated, your supplier can only accept up to 5 of these transactions per month. It simply doesn't scale for real business. Then is the most commonly requested method, the TT wire transfer. This is the classic bank-to-bank transfer we discussed, but it's so common it deserves its own mention here. But here's the problem. There's no buyer protection whatsoever. Once the money leaves your account, it's gone, and if something goes wrong, you have no recourse. On top of that, the transaction costs are high, with both your bank and your supplier's bank taking their cut. And the processing time? Slow. It can take 3 to 5 business days before the payment clears, which can easily delay production. That's why we only recommend using TT with long-term, trusted suppliers you already have a strong relationship with. For a new supplier, it's a huge risk. If you're looking for buyer protection on a sourcing platform, the best-known option is Alibaba Trade Assurance. With this program, you don't pay the supplier directly, you pay Alibaba. They hold the money in escrow and only release it once you confirm the goods have shipped as promised. For beginners, it feels like a safety net. But here's the catch, it only works on Alibaba.com. Anywhere else, that protection doesn't exist. And even on Alibaba, you're still using another payment method in the background, usually a TNT wire transfer or a card, which means you're still stuck with the same fees and slow processing times. So while Trade Assurance is a solid tool for new buyers, it's not a full payment solution by itself. For the giants of industry, there is the letter of credit. This is the preferred method of huge corporations making transactions in the millions of dollars. However, for a small or medium-sized business, it's incredibly complicated and risky. It requires complex cooperation between your bank and your supplier's bank and comes with very high fees. It's simply not practical for most importers. Finally, there are sourcing agencies. You can pay a local agent in China to buy the order for you, often using a local escrow arrangement. This dramatically lowers your risk as long as your communication is crystal clear. However, it adds another layer of expense to the deal as the agency takes a commission. This might be suitable for small, high-risk transactions where you're willing to pay a premium for peace of mind, but it's not a long-term payment strategy. So after all of that, what is the best overall solution? What is the modern, smart way to pay your suppliers in China? The answer is using online international payment platforms and foreign exchange specialists. These platforms are the smart choice because they were built from the ground up to solve the core problems of global trade. First, they are far more cost-effective. Providers like Revolut, Wise, Payoneer, and yes, including us, WorldFirst, offer much better exchange rates than traditional banks with lower and more transparent fees. That means you keep more money in your pocket on every single transaction. Second, they're built for speed. Instead of waiting 3 to 5 business days for a wire transfer to clear, payments through these platforms often arrive in a matter of hours. And in the case of WorldFirst, if you're sending money to another WorldFirst user, there's no transaction fee at all, and the transfer is lightning fast. With over 1.2 million business clients worldwide, it's very common to find that your Chinese supplier is already using WorldFirst. In fact, that's a strong sign they're legitimate, because it shows they routinely collect foreign payments through a trusted channel. And finally, these platforms give you control. They're business-focused, offering tools like multi-currency accounts and forward contracts that let you lock in an exchange rate to protect against currency swings. While there are plenty of providers out there, not all are built for the unique challenges of paying into China. That's where WorldFirst stands out. We've designed our platform to handle China's currency controls, letting you pay suppliers in Chinese yuan directly without piles of offline paperwork. It makes the process simpler, faster, and can even help you negotiate better prices. Then there is the speed. While the category is fast, we've optimized our network for China. Most of our payments are completed in hours, not days. And if your supplier also uses WorldFirst, the transfer can arrive in seconds, and it's completely free. This can be a game changer for keeping your production line moving. Finally, we're deeply integrated into the sourcing ecosystem. We're an official payment partner for 1688.com, the Chinese local version of Alibaba, which are China's premier domestic sourcing platforms. This means you can connect your WorldFirst account for instant checkout with no annual spending limits. This removes the need for costly agents or middlemen, streamlining your entire sourcing and payment process. Okay, choosing the right tool is half the battle. Now let's talk about the costly mistakes. These are the hidden traps that can turn a profitable order into a financial headache. The first costly mistake is ignoring the real exchange rate. Banks and payment services love to advertise low fees, but they hide their profit in the margin they add to the daily exchange rate. This hidden cost can easily skim 3 to 5% off the top of every single transaction. On a $10,000 payment, that's up to $500 lost. The solution is to always compare the final amount your supplier will receive in their currency, not just the upfront transfer fee. The second costly mistake is misunderstanding China's banking system and currency controls. You can't just send any currency you want. China's government has strict rules. Sending a payment that doesn't comply can get your funds frozen for weeks, requiring extra paperwork from your supplier. The cost? A delayed production run. The solution is to always ask your supplier what currency they prefer, usually US dollars or Chinese RMB, and if they have an offshore account in a place like Hong Kong, which can make the process much simpler. The third costly mistake is sloppy documentation. When you send a large payment to China, it can be flagged for review by their financial authorities. If your invoice or contract is vague or incomplete, they may reject the payment. The cost here is time. You'll have to start the entire process over again. The solution is to be meticulous. Ensure all your documents are clear, professional, and properly detail the transaction. The fourth costly mistake is poor timing. An international wire transfer isn't instant. It takes several business days. Businesses often forget to account for weekends and, more importantly, public holidays in both their own country and in China. Sending a payment too late can mean your supplier doesn't receive it in time, causing you to lose your production slot. The cost is a major delay to your entire supply chain. The solution is simple: pay early. plan ahead and build a buffer of several days into your payment schedule. The fifth and most devastating mistake is skipping verification. Scammers are sophisticated. A common tactic is to hack into a supplier's email, create a fake invoice with their own bank details, and trick you into sending them your money. The cost here is a total loss of funds with very little chance of recovery. The solution is a multi-step verification process. Always confirm bank details with your supplier over the phone or a video call. For a new supplier, send a small test payment of $50 or $100 and confirm they received it before sending the full amount. The bottom line is that choosing the right payment strategy isn't just about sending money, it's about building a stronger, more profitable and more efficient business. Alright, let's do a rapid-fire recap of everything we've covered. First, the payment methods you should never use. Credit and debit cards are not widely accepted and have high costs for the supplier. And old-school bank-to-bank transfers are slow, expensive, and offer no buyer protection. Next, the methods that are just okay in specific situations. Use PayPal only for small samples due to its high fees and risk of frozen accounts. Alipay and WeChat Pay are not built for business and have strict limits. A TNT wire transfer is only for trusted suppliers you have a long history with. Alibaba Trade Assurance is a great safety net for beginners, but not a payment method itself. And letters of credit and sourcing agencies are generally too complex or expensive for most businesses. This brings us to the single best overall solution: online international payment platforms. They are cheaper, with better exchange rates and lower fees. They are faster, with payments arriving in hours, not days. And they give you more control with business-focused tools. Within this category, a specialized platform like WorldFirst is built specifically for China, allowing you to pay like a local in Chinese yuan, get incredible speed, and integrate directly with sourcing platforms like 1688.com. Finally, remember to avoid the 5 most costly mistakes. 1. Ignoring the hidden fees and poor exchange rates. 2. Misunderstanding China's currency controls and sending the wrong currency. 3. Using sloppy or incomplete documentation that can get your payment rejected. 4. Bad timing that ignores holidays and processing delays. And 5. Skipping the crucial step of verifying your supplier's bank details. The bottom line is that choosing the right payment strategy isn't just about sending money, it's about building a stronger, more profitable and more efficient business. Alright, let's bring it all home. As you can see, navigating the world of payments to China isn't about finding one secret trick. It's about moving away from the risky, outdated methods and adopting a modern, strategic playbook that saves you money and time. It's about understanding that the final step of your sourcing journey, the payment, is just as critical as finding the right product. This is what we focus on every single day at WorldFirst. We believe that your growth shouldn't be limited by borders or complicated by banking. Our goal is to give you the tools and the confidence to operate globally, as if you are a local. And that brings us to the most important takeaway. Ultimately, a well-planned approach to international payments can build a strong supplier relationship, reduce transaction costs, and improve financial efficiency. Whether you're a small business making occasional purchases or a larger company managing ongoing payments, staying informed and leveraging the right financial tools is crucial. And that crucial tool is what we've built for you. If you're ready to stop worrying about hidden fees, slow transfers, and regulatory headaches, and start focusing on what truly matters, scaling your business and building great products, then we invite you to take the next step. Click the link in the description to open your WorldFirst account. It's the first step towards a smarter, more efficient global payment strategy. Before you go, hit follow and subscribe to our channel. We're doubling down on practical e-commerce content built on insights from the 1.2 million businesses that trust us for cross-border payments. We're here to give that knowledge back to the community with insights just like this. See you in the next one.